All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for My Hero Academia, Season 4, Episode 5. All right, so we are getting into the workings of Shigaraki and Overhaul, potentially as a team, or potentially Shigaraki as being like the keep your friends close and enemies closer, like we suggested in the previous episode.
Yeah. But All Might is going to die.
All Might's
gonna die.
All Might was predicted specifically to die at the hands of a powerful villain.
Yep.
Via Night Eye. Now, the question is that are his, predictions actually perfect? Now, they haven't been wrong so far. They haven't been wrong thus far. But that might be more to do with the type of predictions he's made, and this is one currently that hasn't come true yet.
So we can hope. We
can hope. Yep. But in a lot of ways, I would say that at this point, All Might's done what he needs to do as the symbol of peace. He's going to continue being who he is as a person, to Deku and to the students and what have you. Yep. But in some ways, like maybe the prophecy has already been fulfilled via him, this is the symbol of peace dying, essentially at the end of the fight with All for One.
That would be nice.
Or it's a thing of where we've got future trauma saved up for when Shigaraki is fully grown, or All for One breaks out of prison.
They have options.
That's a whole thing there. We got some really good conversations between Deku and All Might surrounding the past and the history with Night Eye that All Might had. Lots of good stuff there. Yeah. And another kind of concurrent world thing with Night Eye and such is that he is very much keeping a close eye on Overhaul. Like, so much so that, like, they know all kinds of little things about what his doings are, but they don't know what his quirk can do. Right. And that seems like, like, his quirk is very complicated. Like, it's got some unique qualities to it. And yet, we had that little flashback scene with the Reservoir Dogs in the previous episode, kind of being like, hey, they were healed in addition to being, like, put into the concrete.
Right.
So,
kind of disturbing.
Who's to say what all that means?
And then, of course, there's the stuff with Eri.
Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah. So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone. Now, be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, and then come back here for the discussion. All right, we got our Kirishima character upgrade of sorts. Right. He's always been a good boy, kind of in the background. Like, he was there with the whole thing with Shigaraki in Season 1.
Yep. And
so he's, he's up there in terms of experience with a lot of the Class 1A people.
Like he has a presence, right? But the thing is,
he has an identifiable presence.
Yes, and I liked how they went for the reverse angle in that he's been set up as if he's going to be a main character, but he doesn't feel like one because, well, he's not yet,
because he's not,
Even though he's positioned in the story as if he is one, right? And that's a really cool dichotomy to have where
he's almost self-aware of it, too.
Right, especially since he has such an obsession with being manly and everything. He's like, I'm in the situations, I was there, right? At USJ and all of that, and I did all these things.
But everyone else is just rocketing past me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's gotta
it's gotta sting a little bit. Especially if he draws a lot of, I would say, of his confidence based on ego. Because if he wants to be kind of the manly guy, one of the things I would say he did in this episode, which was, I would say, the most manly thing you could do, is take responsibility. I would say one of the things that is I would say universally speaking, I would say this is something that is not necessarily just masculine, but I would say
it is a good, virtuous quality.
A good virtuous quality of masculinity is taking responsibility, someone who's responsible and dutiful. In this case here, he basically said, okay, there's this guy out there that, engaged us, and now I have to basically go solve the problem. Right. He is in a position right now where he is legally, allowed in Hero Society to go and take action and use his quirk. Right. So he's decisive, he's simple, he protects the people around him with his first priority, and he takes all the hit himself. Now, his quirk is specifically designed for that, but he has no idea if he's going to be completely able to, take the hit. And we saw blood, so he definitely did get wounded a little bit from that encounter.
Oh, yeah.
But we see also that he's willing to put everything on the line in classic shonen fashion,
right,
in order to make sure that this whole thing is resolved.
And that's one of the things that I find interesting whenever you have any kind of resilience type superpower. Is that, or anything with superpowers really, but especially for resilience, is that because it's not something that's immediately observable, right? You can't just look at someone and figure out whether, like in the case of, like, say, you know, if I swing a baseball bat at an egg, right, I know that the baseball bat is going to crush the egg, right? In the case of quirks, you don't necessarily know. Just because something's bigger or whatever, it doesn't necessarily have any bearing because it's a quirk. So that makes it crazier when you go and put yourself on the line, because you don't know if these two things meet, which wins, right? And granted, it's a shonen, so we don't have anything super dark happening where, you know, you have a kid that's like, I have a resilience quirk, I'm going to go stop this blow for you because I can take it, and then they get turned to paste, you know, like maybe we'll see that in the future, but probably not. But for resilience quirks especially, that's all they have, right? It's, they have to interpose themselves, they have to do all these things because that's what they do. Like he said, I don't have some kind of mid to long range mobility quirk or whatever. I just have to take the hit and get close and deliver my own hit.
Like, hope I don't get taken down in the meantime. And there's something about that that's rather simple. There's no shortage of superheroes in fiction that have those types of abilities. But one of the things that's fun for Kirishima is that he wants to, in some ways, look cool doing this. He wants to be, like, respected in some ways. He wants to have this image of, I don't know, masculinity attached to him that I kind of look at him and go, sure, if anything, you're trying too hard, Kirishima. You're putting out all this bravado and I am so manly. It's like, no, I think if anything, Kirishima, you just standing proud. This is the time of JOJO'S reference right now with Kirishima is unbreakable, Red Riot is unbreakable. I think if anything, like, you know, tapping a little bit of that humility of realizing that, like, you're going to need a lot of help over the course of your career as a hero, but it's your dutifulness, it's your willingness to put yourself into those positions because that's what your, you know, purpose of your quirk is in this regard. But it's something that, you know, shouldn't be underplayed because maybe you don't look as cool or you don't sound as manly when you do it. But also, we got hinted at even more backstory with Kirishima.
And connected to Mina?
With Mina Ishido?
Now, I'm not, like, when I saw that, there was a part of me that thought, because we haven't seen them interact in a way as if they already knew each other previously. Now, granted, they didn't get too much focus in season 1, but...
Especially Mina. She's had very little focus.
But there's a part of me that wonders if that was something that happened during one of the dangerous events that happened, like USJ or something like that, right? And he was, and he wanted to act, and he saw her going to act, and he hesitated or something.
Okay, I think I know what it is. I think I know what it is. Because actually, Mina has been constantly paired with Kaminari in the past. So I don't think it's anything that we've seen thus far. I think it's something from the past. But Kirishima's main feeling that I got from him was regret. Right? It seemed like he wished he would have done something differently. And since his whole character is about being manly, and the only really attribute-based thing about Mina Ishido that we've seen regarding her personality is that she's kind of bubbly. And she's got, like, this kind of, like, you can do it kind of attitude.
She's the Genki girl, basically.
But that's the thing. She's the Genki girl. They made a point of saying how she's, like, the strongest of all the ladies and stronger than most of the guys, or than a lot of the guys. Physically, yeah. So what it probably is that she helped someone in, like, a manly, quote-unquote manly way. And he was like, I should have done that. I should have done that.
Do you want to just pull up the episode and look at the specific scene? Because it was very
vague and short.
Yeah, very vague and very short.
But
But I feel like if we look at it closely, we could get some good context for it.
So we have him looking at, like, a duffel bag of some kind. Mina's running away from his POV. Oh, wait, hold on. There were some people here. And they were looking scared.
And
then there's some muscly, strong monster thing.
Now,
wait. So maybe they're getting attacked by like a villain or something like that, Mina rushes in because she's got like a instant kill bad touch kind of quirk. Like, I'm just telling you, there's a lot of people with these types of quirks.
Bad touch.
If I touch you with my thing in my hand,
it's not going to go well for you.
It's not going to go well for you.
Yeah, yeah.
But Kirishima is this look of like hanging his head with like regret.
And
why didn't I go?
Yeah, his hair's not spiky, which makes me think that
he's not hard.
Well, yeah, he's not hard. But also like he was at home or whatever, or this was before he decided he wanted to be a hero, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And he saw something that made him think, I want to be that kind of person. So then he took that on. He put that on. He spiked up his hair. He did all this stuff, right? Because like even his muscles, like he doesn't look muscly there, you know.
Oh, right? You're meaning that basically he put on a little bit more of a, like he got his desire to be a hero,
right?
More from this event.
Yeah.
Well, usually whenever they do backstory is tied to what does it mean to be a hero.
Definitely.
And to that person, and then what showed them what it means to be a hero as well, or who.
Right.
In this case, it's usually All Might, but in this case, it might have been Mina Shido.
Yeah, or someone else that looks very, very similar to her. But
I don't think they would.
Yeah, I don't
think they would misdirect us like that.
Yeah, I don't think they would either. But one of the things that this makes me think of is that if he didn't do something, specifically when he has the defensive quirk, right? So
yeah,
that could be something where he sees someone that maybe doesn't have a quirk suited to defense or things like that. Something where they would actually have to be afraid for their own life even more so than him.
Sure.
You know? And then here he's thinking, here I am, I have this quirk, I'm not doing anything with it. I don't feel very manly. I feel kind of ashamed, you know, there's the regret and all that stuff.
Oh, interesting. The thing that happened right before this was them being like, what's your name? Red Riot. Oh, thank you, Red Riot. Thank you. I won't forget that. And then it triggers into the scene. So it is closely tied to his name also. Or it's the act of him.
Well, because he was in school at that point, so he was probably at UA. And Mina was running away in her school uniform, so I don't know.
I mean,
maybe it's something simpler. He has a thing for Mina, and he feels like, you know, I was a, you know, like, so that's what he thinks of her whenever he thinks about the fact that like he's not manly enough in a situation or something like that.
Sure.
Now, maybe that's stretching because MHA doesn't really like to go into delving into relationships much.
But that could be it. That could be it, and that it's more of that, like, he messed up some kind of interaction with her.
Sure.
But regardless of what it is, he does seem to have this aspect of regret and shame with regards to this. And he says, I've also gotten a little, and then it just skips. So
yeah,
I would say if anything, I would assume some kind of negative adjective after that little bit there. But okay, Kirishima, next character on the list to get a little bit of an upgrade. That's cool. I think he was one of the middle characters I would have guessed to get next. You know, I would have guessed a few other characters before guessing him in order to get kind of the, you know, Todoroki style treatment, you know?
Yeah, right, because he's...
I love this line, by the way.
Oh, I'm not charging
your phone for you anymore. Like that was just the most petty kind of like
that was
perfect
great.
Little bits of banter. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, we have Shigaraki and Overhaul discussing everything here. We've got a siege being planned with team ups and stuff like that.
That's. Oh man!
Like,
I hope they're not just throwing that word around to sound cool, because siege is a very specific thing that you're doing.
But listen to this. Go to the part where they're talking about like the reason why we've stayed secure here is because of small details like this.
Yeah, so
it's like they're literally telling us, hey, you know, our base here and what have you. It's not just a place. It's also an underground labyrinth.
It's a spider web, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, right. So basically, you know what would never work against us? Trying to put us under siege.
Right.
One, not only is that a thing of, like, the past, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got tunnel networks and things. That there's no way that would work.
But you know what that gets me excited of as someone who is getting more and more into D&D as time goes on?
An actual
dungeon crawl.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Like with checking for traps and opening doors.
And mapping it out. And
preparing, having like different groups like splitting off into different areas to explore, having like a backline group that's like your support squad.
You just have Momo sitting there and she's like created some little like a little sonar dish or something.
Yeah, like the plug it into the ground or what have you.
Well, and then freaking Hachikure or whatever her name is, earphone jack.
Yeah,
or shoji, like, you know, it's just like, oh wait, reconnaissance and in a place where there will be echoes.
Yeah,
no problem.
Yes, please,
no problem.
But what I get excited about this is that if they do end up basically like deciding, okay, we are going to attack or what have you, the fact that they're bringing students in on that, when in the OP they seem to show like a huge crowd of new character designs with where are they? I gotta find it there. But anyway,
and they were definitely pros. But
they were definitely pros. None of them looked like students.
Although there was a part in the OP, if you go back to it, where they showed some of the students, right? And I think it was all the people that basically were on the work studies that could end up going along. Yeah, right there.
Okay, at the very end of the OP.
So we've got the big three, and
I think this is just people on the work studies.
Right.
Kirishima, Deku, Uraraka, Tsuyu, Aizawa. Aizawa, right there.
Aizawa, yeah.
And then Mirio, Tamaki, what's her name? Nejire.
But
the dragon court, which like the girl who's got like the Ed shot look. Ryukyu.
Yep.
I just gotta say, I want a full-on dragon transformation.
Yeah. Or Dragoon hero.
Oh, Dragoon. Okay,
Dragoon
well,
hero. Now she does have wings on her head, so and the hair looks like it could be a set of claws. But
I'm telling you that I want a full-on like dragon transformation.
Oh, that would be amazing.
I mean, if we're getting a dungeon crawl, if we're gonna get dungeons and dragon here.
Well, and also like, okay, for any of y'all who have seen Shrek, old movie, I know, but one of the things that I love that they did in that is how when the fire would get blasted into an enclosed space, it would shoot out another direction.
Yeah.
Right? If you're in tunnels, now that would probably be a bit too
violent.
Yeah, just a bit. But theoretically,
hey, I mean, they'll have quirks too. They'll have quirks too, and they've been slowly, I would say, building up the people that are Overhaul's compatriots here. Like when Shigaraki reaches into his cloak here, and they like
they're ready
jump
to kill him.
on him, ready to kill. Now, here's what they show here: is we have Mimic, Hisakai director Crab. So Crab is probably the name or the quirk type or what have you. But the thing is that there's this clear like transformation of sorts here. But then the next one is named the one that's got like the where is it? Did I miss it? Hold on.
Well, just the one that was behind him?
Yeah. This is the one named like Chrono or something. Yeah. Chronostasis. Okay.
All right.
What kind of 7th level D&D shenanigans spells is this?
So that's basically the hold monster and there's no save. Like you just stopped.
Or worse, it's some kind of like temporal dimension.
Oh yeah.
We lock you in a permanent place of stasis.
Yep.
You are blind, you have nothing, no senses or anything, and you're just stuck there for a minute. And I hope you can hold your breath.
I cast imprisonment on All Might. Not that All Might is really around and be someone you'd want to do that on, but if that is what it was, that'd be crazy.
Yeah. But also, this is just an aid, so it's someone that's probably decent enough, but there could be like way more like this.
Yeah, you don't get that technical sounding of a name without without having it be something that is very literal, I guess. And for something like that, that's very specific.
Yeah, I'm a little bit terrified about that.
But one of the things I did say though is that the hero agencies would be working together specifically with Night Eye's agency in order to go after them. So
Right.
So
and there'd be an investigation and a siege that's involved. So they're
that does mean
starting with the investigation.
Right,
still.
but that does mean that the students that are in the work studies can be a part of it. Like,
yes. But that means they're probably like making sure, much like they had with the all for one kind of situation, that they assemble enough people and enough of the right people for this kind of a gig, basically.
This isn't going to be some Attack on Titan thing where they send the students in first and, all the pros wait at the back.
Yeah. We got a few quirk reveals. Nejire's quirk is called Surge, and we have no details on what it actually does.
It's about as ambiguous as it could possibly be.
But just energy blasts. Okay.
Yeah.
But Tamaki's quirk, he eats something and takes on the characteristics of the things he eats.
So if he ever got really angry and didn't care about his own survival, what happens if he found managed to get his hands on some, I don't know, like uranium or something and just swallowed it? Well, like could he just turn himself into a nuke?
Well, that's the thing.
I mean, he'd kill him because you're not supposed to eat uranium, but it's metal and all that stuff.
Right. It might actually be more involved with the fact that he has to eat it, and then once it's been digested...
Sure, he has to be able to digest it, not just put it in his mouth and have it go down his throat.
Right. I would assume on some level... Let's think about what the digestive system does. Sense. Once it gets to the stomach and the small intestine, a lot of the absorption starts taking... But most of it is in the small intestine. So let's say he has a time limit, but he's ultimate like Batman prep time. Oh, yeah. He basically goes, okay, what spells do I need to prepare? And he literally sits there with a menu and he's like,
He goes all Joe Rogan and is like, do you have any elk? I'd like to eat some elk meat.
Jesus. But the idea that he basically prepares his spells beforehand by eating food, and since it's something where he can kind of choose probably some aspect of the features that he's getting, even though he apparently didn't want the wings that he got when he did the chicken feet or what have you.
Yeah.
I hope it's not super specific, like he has to eat chicken feet in order to get chicken feet.
I don't think so.
But if it's just I ate some very odd, specific things.
You go to one of those bull testicle festivals, where everything is some kind of cooked bull testicle, and then suddenly he turns into a bull and just tramples somebody, whatever.
He can cast so many different kinds of polymorph, basically.
Yeah.
I see his quirk, and I think that's actually busted, because if I assume that it's not an in combat thing, it's I'm prepped for it. He could have a pouch of food with him for those things. Then he's like, oh no, I gotta flex in some kind of winged base thing so I can fly.
He special orders some strips of blue whale meat and then just drops from 1,000 feet.
Oh my gosh. He's probably a little bit... His quirk is probably one that borderlines on a couple bits of illegal interactions with endangered species. Just gonna say... There's probably a few problems with his quirk where they're like, hey, I swear to God, if we see you eating any more panda meat, he's like, I never did that. I was a black bear and I was a polar bear. That was some black and white, but it was not.
He takes a bite off of a stick to just turn into a tree and hide temporarily.
Yes. Yes, exactly. That kind of stuff, that utility is just really cool.
Here's a question. Could he eat a liquid and then turn into a liquid? So he drinks maple syrup or something, and then...
See, that's my point. I have no idea how limited it...
No, like a little kid. He eats glue, and then he just pastes someone so that they're stuck somewhere.
Jeez. Okay. He can manifest different characteristics of things he eats in his body, but there is a cool kind of thing to be reminded of here, is that he keeps, I would say, his core torso area kind of more or less human. It's more his limbs that...
Well, that's just what we've seen so far, because that's probably the easiest to use.
Right, tentacle powers, hence.
Yeah, but who knows? He could do other stuff. But tentacle powers.
But then he also has perfect control of those things as well. It's ridiculous. So then we get Red Riot as Unbreakable. We get Mr. Fat, which I love the simplicity of his quirk, but then how actually busted it is as well.
Yeah, I'm glad that it didn't end with him. I'm super fat, and that's my quirk. Does your fat do anything special? No. Oh no.
And then
that wouldn't have been good. But this, that's actually terrifying.
Yeah. He's just, I sit on you, and...
Yep.
and that. Okay, drugs, quirks, scientific evolution, all that. We are definitely going full X-Men here, y'all.
Yeah.
So we knew about the dart bullet things having some element of negatively affecting the quirk canceling.
But now the heroes know about it.
The heroes know about it, but what we're also getting is a little bit of a tie into the Two Heroes movie, where they were using kind of that technology in some ways to boost up the quirk
of the big bad.
Of the big bad in that.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, spoilers if you haven't seen that, but it's been out for a long time, so
yeah,
whatever.
And if you're watching this, then
yeah. We already done a reaction of it, by the way, so go check that out. But what I think is really cool with this is it's just casual world building. It's like, oh yeah, in the U.S. that's a thing. You know, it's illegal, but it's it's like 1 to 2 hours of quirk boosting, and it's for people that have a quirk that's not that strong. That's the original purpose of it.
Makes a lot of sense.
It had an in-society reason that was legal and legit. And now here's the problem. If we have potentially, a guy going around who's been gifted both of them, both the darts that remove quirks, but then also... That's like arming terrorists, basically, with
it's
specifically like
terrifying.
that. But think about all the people that we've seen ever in the show, ever, and which ones, if they got their quirk boosted...
Momo.
Yes, basically. My point is just every character in this show, if they ever got their quirk boosted in any way, would be a god.
Momo just rolls out a tank. Or the Invisible Girl just ceases to exist.
Momo starts like studying the composition of stars, and just decides to be like, I'm just
energy crisis solved,
creating like plasma, little bits of stuff going in on there. Poop to plasma, everyone. Here we go.
She suddenly doesn't need to understand it in order to make it. If she can think it, she can make it. She pulls out a lightsaber. She pulls out,
Dr. Manhattan. That's how we get it.
Yeah.
Okay, but then we have all the villains, right? We have Shigaraki.
Yeah. He disintegrates the world. He disintegrates the Earth's crust in a 20-mile radius, and lava
just
starts
thinking about anyone
forth.
with a bad touch quirk where they just touch the ground, it terrifies me. It terrifies me, especially if they have some sort of safety against their own quirk. But then you have all these other people like, All for One. Why didn't he ever use this? He just had so many quirks, he didn't care, probably. But then you have freaking Overhaul, who... That's maybe it.
With matter recomposition or whatever it is.
Right, but that might be it, is that he's already somewhat boosted. Like, he's already,
Oh, sure.
That's why his physical constitution in such a way is so frail or what have you. Yeah. He's already been doping up and doing all that crazy stuff.
If we dosed up Deku, then he could get back to the point that he was at earlier when he could, do full punches.
It's temporary, though.
Yeah.
But... I just freak out about basically drugged up supervillain kind of stuff and that
Minetta's balls just go everywhere.
They just keep growing.
Yeah.
His head just falls over to the side and it's just raising up.
No joke though. In a dungeon, Minetta is really helpful because you're in a contained environment with strategical advantages in small areas.
Traps.
Yeah, traps or just plugging up a way, after you go through, right?
Yeah.
Just Momo makes a sheet of, steel, right? And then
or Invisible Girl just puts a bunch of the balls on sticks or what have you, just walks around holding them. They're invisible or what have you.
Oh,
just
man.
Goes over to a whole bunch of people, sticks the stick with one ball on one end to the person and sticks the other one to, a thing or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
It could be like a steel rod. Who cares? But the point is that...
No. Well, the most dangerous thing, of course, which is, of course it works this way for Minetta, is if you were to ever put the ball in someone's mouth. Because... Bad way to go.
Okay, this discussion has gone full off the rails while just discussing the potential of quirk evolution and boosting and what have you.
I did realize, I did notice it was not lost on me that the amount of time that they spent for Uraraka and Tsuyu's little fight thing, and granted, they're focusing on Kirishima.
Yeah.
But their little thing in total had this much time. And just the fight with Kirishima afterwards was this much of the episode.
Right.
But, you know.
I think the main thing is that Uraraka and Tsuyu have already gotten a lot more, I would say, screen time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would say some characterization. Not really Tsuyu as much as Uraraka, but just that aspect of it. Kirishima needed the upgrade, maybe more than
and I liked what they gave us. I'm very much looking forward to see how they utilize that,
especially
continuously moving forward
with Mina potentially.
Yep,
that could be cool.
Oh yeah,
because Mina is literally one of the like bottom 5 characters in Class 1A with development. She's probably the top one of the bottom 5.
Sure, yeah, because she's definitely above Ojiro and like Koda and...
Well, no, Koda has development. Koda had a little bit of development with his mom and stuff like that, and his shyness and all of that. Yeah, I'm talking people like Sato.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's appreciated that we're giving a little bit of love to the other students. So yeah, that's episode 5. They're building up to something potentially a little crazy, and I want a dungeon crawl, y'all. Give me my dungeon crawl.
And what I would also love to see is if they manage to say bust Eri out of there.
Yes.
And then it's a chase in the dungeon. That can get real crazy.
A chase out.
Yeah. Basically, like, okay, we got in. How do we get out?
Well, I think the best way you get out is you have Mount Lady go inside, and you basically wait until she's at a point where there's no like crazy, support structure stuff above.
Stomp.
And she just kind of goes, boom, just grows up, basically.
I was going to say you have Momo leave stickers with arrows. Like, in case of exit, follow this, this is the way out.
I mean, they could have it be a thing where they set up, like, they go through the underground area and stuff like that, and Momo has little radar things that she sets up along their path and creates literally like a transmutation circle of, Mount Lady, step here, please. And she's got like a target reticle, and she's like, okay, poof, and just like LZ established.
Momo just leaves C4 charges on like key escape points, so that way just cave in the tunnels and no one will be able to get out.
That seems really safe for all the heroes. Yeah.
Well,
that's
no.
That's how
all
you get
except
TPKs.
One. That way you get a bottleneck.
That's how you split the party and kill off like Group 5 or whatever. We haven't had contact with Group 5. What heroes were there? A bunch of new people that were introduced the last 2 episodes, sir. Well, damn it, they're all dead now, Johnson.
Yeah,
that kind of stuff. So there we go. And you want to see full-length reactions for our My Hero Academia reactions, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. Any level of support gets you access also to our Discord, where you can chat with us in the community there about this show, with the anime onlys, with manga people who have all the spoilers and stuff like that, or you can talk with us about just any kind of stories, like specifically Jacob's book that he wrote.
Right. Boom. Segue.
Yes.
You didn't see it coming, did you?
No.
I wrote a sci-fi novel. It's called Battle Lines. It's available in both hardcover and ebook on Amazon. Links in the description. Go check it out.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.